I'm muted. I do apologize. I don't know what's going on with this thing. I don't know why I muted myself. Anywho, welcome, Holo Gelato Familia. I'm George, the Disney Italiano. Let's try that again. That just completely threw me off. I don't know what happened. Oh well. Any case, today is January 14th, 2026, and I thought, you know what? Let's do a live, and I wasn't planning on to. I'm currently getting over feeling a little bit under the weather. So trying to just kind of recoup and recover from that. And, I thought, you know what, since there's no news coming out, let's, take some time off, and kind of take some downtime for myself. And, but Disney ended up dropping some pretty interesting news today. And I thought, okay, well, I'll just wait and, till a day that I can get, some more clarification of what it is. And then I thought, you know what, this is just too good of news to just let it go by. So I thought, I'm going to go live and we'll talk about it. But in any case, we have, of course, it wouldn't be Holo Gelato without the Holo to my Gelato. We got Abby in the house. We got Jesse Adventure. And we also got Dragonblood. Dragonblood, so glad to see you. It's been a while. So glad you guys are here. Kind of kick things off. But in any case, I'm going to share my screen. And as you guys can probably see by the thumbnail of what this is all about. So this is from DSNY Newscast. Breaking news from April 29, 2026, Disney is permanently expanding the timeline for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland to include all eras of Star Wars. Luke, Leia, Han Solo, and Darth Vader will all officially be part of Galaxy's Edge permanently. And I did watch Jack's video early on, and when he says permanently, I can definitely agree to the fact of that this is permanently, because Jack has very reliable sources to the fact of that he got to actually talk to some folks at Disney on a media call, so to speak. So they were able to, give more in-depth information on it. He was able to, ask questions and everything. So the fact that Jack actually utilizes these words, permanently and expanding the timeline and everything, I mean, this is pretty much a safe bet that we are going back into the past to move forward into the future, which that's great. My only thing is, why did it take this long for us to get to this point? This is something that the fans wanted. This is, it was an easy fix that could have been done 6 years ago. I just don't know why, so for Disney to say, oh yeah, we know this is going to work. Well, of course it's going to work because we've been telling you this, but enough of the sour grapes. I'm just glad that they decided to go with, with that notion finally, to incorporate the classic Star Wars characters, Let's see. Dragonblood says, I actually cannot wait to step into Galaxy's Edge when it's now in its thriving era and beyond. Absolutely. It's going to be a great time for Star Wars fans, or honestly, even just us park fans. The fact that, Jack also had mentioned that they're going to kind of reconfigure the land, so to speak, so each timeline doesn't cross where it doesn't make sense, but each set of characters at a specific time will have a designated area. For instance, Han Solo, and I believe he mentioned Leia, will probably be around Millennium Falcon. Chewie and Rey will be over by the First Order. Vader will be by what we call the First Order ship, but he did say in his video, he did confirm with Disney that it's a starfighter ship, a TIE fighter ship that can go in both eras of the timeline, so it still fits. So it would be Vader and probably I'd say the original stormtroopers, and Luke, probably just like wandering around and everything. I would love to see more R2. Would love C3PO. Would love to see Yoda. I think Yoda would be really cool, but of course Yoda would have to be like an audio animatronic, sort of like how they did with Olaf in Paris. I think that would be really cool, having a little Yoda walking around. But of course, you have to keep him out. You can't just bring him out once in a blue moon for a limited engagement and then we never see him again. You have to keep him incorporated in the land. And then also we have Mando and Grogu along with Ahsoka. I think they'll be over by like the marketplace area. So each set of characters will have a designated area. And actually, I'm going to reshare my screen again because someone had posted kind of like their own interpretation of like what the land would be. So it would look like this. So this is compliments of Brian Sager. And in case if you're wondering how the timeline will be broken down, here's a visual that will separate the OT and the sequel trilogy. So the blue would be the original, and then the red would be the sequel trilogy, which obviously leads over into Rise of the Resistance for the First Order and everything. And speaking of Rise of the Resistance, there's a lot of chatter that, people are, in the opinion that they should revamp Rise of the Resistance to incorporate a classic Star Wars story that features Vader and everything. And I think in time, I think that would be cool, but I don't think it's really necessary right now. I think for Galaxy's Edge, what is necessary is let's expand. Like I'm kind of like out of this realm where it's like we already have something that works, so let's just keep changing it. Yes, I get it. Evolve and growth, I get that. But let's expand first, then we could always come back and say, okay, how can we plus this? How can we revamp this? There's still an expansion pad in Galaxy's Edge that hasn't been utilized yet. It's supposed to be for the restaurant sit down area that was supposed to be connected to Oga's Cantina. Or make it for like a third attraction. I feel like Rise of the Resistance and Smuggler's Run, it's more based for families. But for Star Wars, I would love to see like a thrill ride, like a real e-ticket attraction. That would be really cool. So I would love to see an expansion of Galaxy's Edge before we just start revamping everything that's already in it, especially Rise. I feel like Rise doesn't really need changed right now. I think as long as we get more original stuff now for the third attraction, let's make it original. So that way it balances it out. So that way maybe you don't even have to touch Rise of the Resistance. Smuggler's Run definitely needed changed. Let's be honest. I mean, I am very curious. I'm still hesitant, but I'm optimistic of how it's going to look and everything. I just hope they updated the tech. Like I hope like the actual visuals are much better and doesn't look like very gamey. Gamey as like video gamey, not gamey as in like the poultry gamey. And of course, it gives more for the engineers, to help pick, which mission that we're going to do. And there's multiple missions in different locations. So that's going to be really cool. I can't wait for that. Let's see. We got a few more people in here. Let's see. This is what happens when I don't look at the screen. I do apologize. So we got Vegas Disney RTV in the house. Let's see. Not to change the subject, but I wonder if it's a sign the Star Wars night event will be better too. I will come back to that, Vegas, because I actually wanted to touch upon that. And then we also have... Let's see. I'm so very sorry. I'm trying to just... Let's see. We have John MK iTrain. I want to see Jar Jar. That would be interesting. I think, honestly, I mean, I know a lot of people, have their their thing about Jar Jar, but you know what? He's part of Star Wars too, and he does bring that lightheartedness and that comedy style to it. So I think that would be really cool. Thank you. I do apologize. Okay, so it's John Make It Rain. Cool. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you correcting me on that. Let me see. Coming back up here. Let's see what else we have. Let's see. Abby says, I want Yoda, the Jawas, and the Ewoks. Oh, yeah, we got to have like some creatures and critters and, androids, like things like walking around. We need more life. And I'm going to come back to that as well. Let's see, R2-D2 will permanently part of the land according to Disney Parks blog, excuse me. One downside for me is moving Kylo Ren to Tomorrowland. Yeah, they are. They are moving Kylo Ren where Darth Vader is now in the little Visa card holder building. So they're like, to your room, son. Big Daddy Vader's here. Oh my gosh. Let me see. Don't change Rise of the Resistance. It's still fresh and brand new to me. Yeah, I completely agree. It's not time to change that yet. Let's see. I think it's harder to change Rise of the Resistance because of the Kylo Ren animatronics. Oh, okay. Here we go. John, Make It Rain. Speeder bike ride. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. We need something that has a little bit more oomph, a little bit more gusto. As I said, I love Rise of the Resistance. Smuggler's Run, hopefully the new missions will make it better and everything, but we need something that has a little bit more gusto, that gives us that like full like Star Wars adventure. We have Albert in the house. Welcome in, Albert. Let's see. I feel like they are hesitating to do that because it would be limit what they could do, but they do it on multiple planets for each park. Yeah, very true. Kylo has to go. I think honestly, for me, this is just me. Kylo overstayed his welcome. I honestly, I'm kind of over the whole Reylo thing, to be honest with you. I feel like if they would have kept them subtly in there without like throwing them down our throats with everything that involves Star Wars, I think it would have been much better. I think those characters would have been more welcoming. But the fact of that we had them for now going on 7 years, and it's like that's all we had up until now, until April 29th. Now it's now we're getting somewhere. Let's see. Kylo will now be the chase card photo op. Yep. He is going to be sent to the card room. Okay, so I wanted to mention. Okay, where Vegas? Where was your thing at? Here we go. Oh, and then as he says, as Floridians say, expand, don't replace. Okay, so yeah, so Vegas, you had mentioned about for Star Wars night. So what I thought was kind of funny that with this all happening prior, that they really cut down on Star Wars night. Now, Abby and I went last year and it was nice, but for me, it was like, because I went the year prior as well, and it was like the same thing. The only thing that I start to see is each year they keep cutting something. They cut the First Order March. They cut they cut something else. I can't remember, but I know from last year they cut the First Order March, and I'm like, man, like now what are they going to cut for this year? And I'm wondering if that's actually a good thing, because now hear me out. When you start to now see original characters coming into Galaxy's Edge, and then you have an upcharge ticket event that happens once a year, if they even have the event, to have these rare character sightings of Jawas and Ewoks and whatever else that you can come up with in the Star Wars universe. Why only subdue to have those characters? for just that one night only. And we know Disney will not use any of those characters because people are paying an upcharge premium price for it. They're not going to give it to us for free for a park admission or a park reservation. But if they're starting to go down this route, I'm kind of hoping that they keep reducing Star Wars Night till they just say, you know what, we had it for as long as we did. It was a great run. But now let's start getting these characters permanently into these into Galaxy's Edge. You know, and as I said, that includes the Ewoks, the Jawas, like let's get some androids, like let's do this thing, you know. Now, I think it is funny that they're only doing this right now at Disneyland. It's not going into Walt Disney World. But what's so funny is they always seem to give us like the beta tester sort of speak with Disneyland first, and then it starts to seem like it segues into Florida. So hopefully they get some love out there as well. Let's see. Dragon Blood says, I thought for the expansion pad, an indoor coaster similar to Cosmic Rewind would be cool so that you don't have to overlay Space Mountain for Star Wars or Star Wars events. I want Ghost Galaxy. Okay, that's a good one. Let's see. John, Make It Rain. Give us Chewie's Planet and a ride that deals with the war that gods helped them with when he was younger. Let me see. They need to implement some sort of crazy playground for adults that want to do some sort of training. You know, I do actually miss the I mean, it wasn't for the adults. It was the Jedi Training Academy for the kids, because that was because I remember when my son did it. He just turned 6, and he was like he was like nervous, but at the same time, like the fact that he's wielding a Jedi weapon and he's about to go face to face with Darth Vader, because at the time they were still utilizing Vader. I do hope too they add Darth Maul into the mix too at some point. But he enjoyed that. Let's see. To be like a Jedi or something, they could have so many cool contraptions and gadgets with the Force that could be activated, like Moana's water area at Epcot. I like that. I like that area. So that really would work. I like that. Has Darth Maul ever come out and greeted people? No. I know, like, they utilized him obviously for like the Jedi Training Academy. They had him obviously for the Star Wars weekends down in Florida, but no, I don't think he ever, and he was in a few parades. No, I don't think he ever did a meet and greet. Huge example for the beta test for Galaxy's Edge was the Mandalorian and Grogu. Oh, Yoda. Okay, I saw from your last comment. Harry Potter gets 1 stuff. Why not have 4 stuff? That is very true. That is very true. We have to make it lively. We have to make it that this place is real. And to be honest with you, the way that they made Galaxy's Edge, for me anyways, I more so just use it as a pathway to get from one part to the other. To be honest, it really, you know, I don't really stay in Galaxy's Edge unless I'm going on Rise. See, Abby says for Star Wars Night. Oh, so he did have a meet and greet at Star Wars Night. See, Mandalorian and Grogu went to Florida later on after Disneyland. Exactly. Yep, walking path. That's me, George the Disney Italian. I always say the walking path. Now, on top of that as well, I'm going to re-share my screen again, because there is some more extra features that they are adding into Galaxy's Edge that was never there before, that was supposed to be. And again, I don't know why it took this long. So this is coming from the one and only Mr. Scott Gustin. New Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland is getting a new background music loop built from John Williams' original scores, including the main title at the land's entrance, Cantina Band near Oga's Cantina, and other classics like Han Solo and the Princess and more. Again, I don't know why it took this long for them to add music, especially the classic, iconic John Williams score that everyone knows of Star Wars. Like, hello, like I don't even know why. I mean, the man is in his what mid 90s and like he's still going, but he's a genius. He's a but just like with Avengers Campus over at DCA, when you walk into Avengers Campus, like even though it's what we call of what Bricky calls it Avengers Hallway right now, up until we get Affinity Defense and start Flight Lab and everything, even though it wasn't a real, what do you call it? Not a real immersive land like we wanted it to be. The one thing that Avengers Campus did give us was the music. Like when you first enter that land, like you hear that startup music from any Marvel film, that it just builds up that anticipation. Like I know what land I'm walking into. That's what they need to do with Star Wars. When you walk into Galaxy's Edge, you got to hear that loud, triumphant John Williams score. Like it's not you walking into Galaxy's Edge and you're just hearing like crickets and little like speeders go by. No, we need life. We need, as I always said, over here on Hollow Gelato, is I always take Galaxy's Edge as a big pot of boiling water. Now it just needs that meat and potatoes in that water. And it's starting to seem like we're starting to get that now too. So let's see. I see that Star Wars Land needs a people mover like ride. Yes, and here's the thing, John. They were gonna do the Bantha attraction. That was actually supposed to be the third attraction. It was supposed to be like a people mover style, kind of transportation ride where guests would board banthas and the banthas would go around the land and circle it and everything. That would have been really cool. I still would like somehow, some way for them to bring back the banthas. Just bring back the banthas. That's like, it doesn't even have to be in a full attraction form. Even if they have like a bantha farm where they have like big audio animatronic banthas just like kind of gated off and they interact with guests. That would be so cool. That would be really cool. As I said, I do hope and think that Galaxy's Edge is going to, be transforming a lot more, to be honest with you. And I feel like with D23 coming up on the horizon this year, actually, I feel like that if we were to get any kind of extra substantial new announcements on top of like all the other projects that were waiting on, I could them definitely see that they could announce like a Galaxy's Edge expansion, whether it's a new attraction, whether it's the restaurant, whether it's the banthas, whether it's something. Like I could definitely see, because it buys them time to utilize an expansion pad that can help a not so hot land, so to speak. And I think it would help them. I really do. And it gives them something new to announce at D23, because let's face it, this D23 coming up is all going to be about updates of what the current projects that are going forth, which it should be. I don't want to get a slew full of announcements. I want to see what's going on with the projects that are already like announced. But to make an announcement for an expansion of Galaxy's Edge with a new attraction or a new restaurant, I could definitely see them doing something like that. I think the Bantha attraction is still plausible. Yes, it actually is. Um, yeah, I think the Banthas and actually the restaurant can still be, or if they decide not to do the restaurant, they could do another whole like indoor kind of attraction. As I said, I do like the speeder bike idea. I do love like the Cosmic Rewind um, kind of idea, kind of style. Um, yeah, yeah, I could definitely see them doing that. Plus, I think too that if they were to go that route with Galaxy's Edge, it would then save them the excuse to even want to try to touch Tomorrowland, to be honest with you. Because we all know, and we've probably all heard that, there was, articles that were written and interviews that were done that literally that Disney admitted to the fact that, you know, uh, that the higher ups didn't really want to do anything with Tomorrowland, that it wasn't a great investment. They didn't see any kind of responsive return with it. Even at the time when JPEG was CEO, so I wouldn't hold your breath for Tomorrowland right now. That is. But I think for Galaxy's Edge, I think Galaxy's Edge, I could see them doing something, and then also doing something in the Lilo and Stitch parking lot. That's not Star Wars related. I just think they'll do something, and then once they do that, they can have enough in Disneyland that they can offset that. If they do decide to close off Tomorrowland, they can shut down that whole land, and it won't affect a whole lot of the daily operations. D23 needs to just do updates, no new empty promises or news. Absolutely agree. If they dressed up a bunch of people, let's see, like the Urukai form Lord from Lord of the Rings, and announced that they purchased Lord of the Rings, I'd forgive them for a lot of things. I mean, I think honestly, we can all agree to the fact of I would just love to see Lord of the Rings obviously I would love to see it in Universal. I think that would, be a great fit. I mean, who knows? Maybe it might go in the UK Universal Park. But just the scope of Middle Earth, the scope of Middle Earth, and like of how popular Lord of the Rings is, like one of the, if not the, like I would say Lord of the Rings and like Back to the Future for many different reasons, like of being like classic trilogy style. Um, I'm not saying that the original trilogy for Star Wars, because there's so many other sequels after it. But when you just look at like Lord of the Rings and like Back to the Future, like those trilogies are like untouchable. I mean, I would love to see Lord of the Rings come somewhere, somehow, some way into a theme park. And I'm not just talking about like a little exhibit or a walkthrough. I mean like a full immersive like land. Let's see. And yes, that would be badass. Let's see. Do you think a Kuka arm ride like Monsters EU could work for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge? Ooh. Yeah, I think honestly it could. I think if you're if they utilize the Kuka arm in a way where it would fit into the Star Wars story, where it would make sense of why we're sitting in it in the first place, and you would have like all these audio animatronics and everything, it could work. You would just have to work the story around where it would make sense. Oh, I see. Then he said that would be badass. So that was the badass comment. Okay, let's see. I think they are going to build Frozen Land and Lilo in the Lilo and Stitch parking lot because Disneyland doesn't have a Frozen ride. Yeah, Jesse, I think it's so funny, really. Even though Walt Disney World has a Frozen ride, it's now just taken this amount of time to get the facial change that the international parks have with the characters. Um, but yeah, all these other like international parks have like full scoped lands of Frozen. Walt Disney World just has one attraction and Disneyland has nothing at all. So I could definitely see them utilizing Frozen somewhere, some way for sure. We'll never see Lord of the Rings at Disney. Universal's better for that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I want to see the MonsterVerse, Godzilla, and Kong for Universal so bad. That would be really cool. Like I love doing um down in Florida, I love doing Skull Island, even though it's like a replica of the tram tour that's out here in Hollywood. But the thing that I love with Skull Island is the queue. The queue is amazing. And then at the very end, you get the giant Kong audio animatronics. So that would be like really cool to have like a giant Kong and a giant Godzilla like in some sort of format. Oh man, that would be cool. Maybe new Star Wars overlays at Tomorrowland for Star Wars 50th celebration or a tie-in with Starfighter. Ooh, I mean, I think, to the fact of, yeah, and Star Wars Celebration is coming in 2027 back to LA. Um, I actually would like to try to see if I can nab some tickets. I think tickets go on sale 1 year to the day. So I think it's going to be in April, I believe. So I'd like to try to see if I can get tickets. But yeah, 50th anniversary of the original Star Wars with A New Hope. I think they're going to re-release the original in theaters, like the original. And yeah, with the Starfighter, hopefully that movie turns out turns out well. And I think honestly, just the change up with Lucasfilm in general, Kathleen Kennedy will be heading out, Dave Filoni, and I forget the other person who is taking kind of like a dual role with him. It would have been cool to see Jon Favreau take some sort of leadership role in that, since he kind of like spearheaded with The Mandalorian and everything. But I honestly, even just with the slight changes before they even go into effect, that if this is the route that it's going to go, I have high hopes that Lucasfilm can kind of come back out of the ashes, so to speak. That would be really, really cool. Let's see. Oh, wait, let me come back here. I don't expect huge announcements for this year's event. I know for me it'll be huge because it'll be my first D23. Absolutely, Dragon Blood. Here's the thing. You don't need brand new, mind-blowing announcements for the parks to enjoy D23. Abby and I go to subtle D23 events and we enjoy ourselves immensely, So the fact of that this is going to be your first time doing a big D23 like this, and there's so much other stuff going on, you'll enjoy it. Just hopefully we can get tickets. Let's see. I agree. It's you going to be. Let me see. I agree, Dragon Blood. It's you going to be my first D23 fan event. I know it's kind of lost in translation, but I think I understood what she meant. Let's see. Dragon Blood has a two-parter. Number one, if Universal does a Godzilla and Kong attraction, going there opening day and being the first person see you all there, I think for a Monsters Verse attraction, it would be like Star Tours. And then number two, if you want to know why I chose Motion Simulator for Godzilla and Kong, my nerd self is going to come out and expect to see a huge high school essay. I think that would probably be the route that they would go. They would probably do more simulator screen kind of thing. I don't have a problem with screen as long as you just don't beat it to death and that's all that you do. For instance, I love to see Hollow, a mix match of screen and audio animatronic and real life set events. set pieces and everything going. I like that mixed. Sometimes when you just have just screen, sometimes it can get a little bit too monotonous. That's why the actual Kong ride, like right now, is like where it's like the Kong like circle vision sort of thing. It's okay. The ride itself is like, because you're looking like in all different directions, and it's in a weird ob angle, and it's just like, I'd rather just be like on a platform and have like the giant Kong like try to grab us and attack us, and you have like practical sets and you have practical visual effects, and like, I don't know, call me old fashioned, but that's just me. But yeah, I think honestly, just as I said, I had to talk about this because, and don't worry, we will be talking, more about this on the channel, but I had to just come on and just give my overall thoughts and opinions on this, because I thought this is too good. This is too good of news. This is too good material just to pass by today. Um, everyone was kind of talking about it and reporting on it, so I thought, got to stay ahead of the game. Let's do this thing. And Dragon Blood says, time to go forward. Hope. Let's see. Oh, time to go. Forward. Hope you all are ready. So in the movie Godzilla versus Kong, 2021, there's a vehicle the human characters ride that's similar to the Star Speeder 3000, called the Hev. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I do know, like, Godzilla versus Kong and what was it, Godzilla minus one, and all those movies, like, they were very well received. Kong is classic, Godzilla is classic, so the fact of like these two mammoth Goliath kind of creature animals that they like work together, but they hate each other, and then they like fight, and it's like, I mean, it's so good for story, so I mean, they already got Kong somewhat in there, so I mean, yeah, if they can get Godzilla, kind of mix it in there, that'd be really cool. That'd be really cool. Definitely. But yeah, so I wanted to, come on, just talk about, I didn't really have any other kind of like bigger topics to talk about, just because I am holding a lot of the topics for Theme Park Conductor and me and Theme Park Conductor's Marathon Live, which I have to let you guys know, it was supposed to be for tomorrow at the time of this live. Yeah, we were supposed to do it tomorrow, January 15th. But Conductor is feeling under the weather. So we're going to kind of, and as I said, I'm still kind of recovering for a few things. So we're just going to kind of like pull it back some. So 2 weeks from tomorrow, which will be the 29th, we will be up and ready to have our marathon live, where we're going to have lots and lots of topics, which this topic will probably be one of them, for sure. But again, I had to just come on and just give my overall thoughts on the subject matter. And we got Mademoiselle in the house. Welcome in. Never alive without Mademoiselle. Let's see. I'm ready for Godzilla and Kong Supernova in March 2027. There's another one, see? It just keeps on coming. Also, Monarch Season 2 next month, and Godzilla Minus Zero in November. But anywho, hope everyone has a good day and a good night. Thank you, Dragon Blood. Yes, you as well. And then Mademoiselle says hi to Abs. So yeah, there's going to be a lot more. There's going to be a lot more topics and everything. As I said, I didn't really have like a huge. Oh, Yawn Smokes, welcome in. Big update on Avengers. Someone posted. Really? Is it on Was it posted on Twitter, X? Let's see. Hmm. Let's see. Yeah, is it a construction update? Is it for the parks? Is it for the movies? So far I'm not seeing anything. Trying to see if it would like update. Hmm. But yeah, I didn't see anything. Yawn Smokes, if you're still in the chat, if you could let me know, is it on X? Is it on Instagram? Um, yeah, just let me know. See, Dragonblood says, can't wait to ride Avengers Infinity Defense. It's why, for those that don't know, my most anticipated ride is Transformers this year. Yeah, I think honestly, after what now going on 7 years, I'm like ready for this like expansion of Avengers to just open so we can actually see what these attractions are. Like, I'm very curious to see like what the storyline is, what Avengers they're going to use. Are they going to utilize screen and animatronic? What's the storyline behind King Thanos? So, like, yeah, there's lots of like hidden hidden questions in there that I still would love answers. Let's see. I'm surprised they haven't built a ride based on the triangle people that go around collecting junk and droids in the desert. A slow moving ride based on that would be fun. It's very creative. I like that. I like that. I mean, that's the thing with Star Wars. Like, the possibilities are endless. And honestly, even with Marvel too. I mean, like the fact that you have like the whole like multiverse and everything, and you can get creative. And that's the problem sometimes Disney has is they have this big, huge scope of like a universe between Star Wars and Marvel, but they like compact it in a little box, and it's like, no, let them breathe, let them stew. Let's see. Um, I just want Avengers to open too. All we need from D23 is just an opening timeline, pretty much. Yeah, I'm for sure we'll get that. We'll for sure. We will definitely get an opening timeline. And honestly, since it's going to be late summer of 26, we might even get an actual like date, like month date. Maybe, or maybe not the date, but maybe at least the month. Yawn Smoke says Link didn't post. No, I didn't see anything. I'm curious to see what it is. I'm very curious. Trying to see if I could even like maybe like type it in or something. Let's see. Let's see. By the time D23 hits, construction could be almost done. Yeah, that's why I think honestly we'll probably get like a more substantial date. Yeah, for sure. There would definitely be a new timeline like open for it. Let's see. World Parks 365 on Twitter. Okay, let me see. Let me see. Is that actually what their handle's called? Is World Parks 365? Let's see. I think I found. Let me see. The only thing that I see that was posted like 29 minutes ago is this. Oh, wait, Abby sent me. Let me see. Marvel suit up. Which Marvel location are you choosing? Like, I don't. What is this? It doesn't give like no like. Let me see. So this is just saying, looking at the crazy progress on the Avengers campus expansion. So that's actually what it's looking like thus far, because we were just there a few days ago. But yeah, it's coming along. Coming along. I mean, look at that. Crazy. That's a huge building. Huge building. Yeah, see, because when you're over here and you're looking, like trying to look beyond the wall, like here's the crane and here's like extra like footpath and everything. This is like the only part of the building you could see, but look at like scales all the way back here and then all the way over here, and it's like that's a massive building. I wonder what that was, Abs, though. But like, I wonder like what it meant by that. Yeah, it does. Like that thing looks big, very big. Hold on one second, folks. Sorry, I'm just trying to get all this. I don't know why it is doing this. There we go. Okay, I don't know why it was like stretching my screen where it was like cutting it off. I do apologize. So yeah, that definitely, yeah, it is huge. We got Hudson Thomas in the house. Welcome in. What would meet your expectations or disappoint you about Adventures Campus editions? Oh, good, very good question. So for me, I think what would hit my expectations is for how long that it took for this project to kind of get finished. And I do know, like with the events of 2020 and everything, it delayed and everything, and it went through how many different processes, and they were having issues with the ride system and everything, which that's what led to a different ride system. But they bought the Kuka arms, so that's why they added Stark Flight Lab, which I feel like for that seems a little bit of a disappointment for me. I mean, I'm glad that they utilized the Kuka arms for something, but it just felt like they didn't do anything creative with it. It's just like, yeah, let's just throw the Kuka arms in this building and like just kind of put a motion to it that they're in training. And it's just like, I think they could have done something a little better than that. So when they kind of said like, oh, we purposely wanted it to look like just a Kuka arm, it's like, yeah, but that kind of cheapens the deal a little bit. When it comes to Infinity Defense, my expectation is I want to see new technology. I want to see something that we haven't seen before. I want the ride system to be amazing. I want to see the screen based moments to look amazing. I want audio animatronics. Um, I want visual effects. I want special effects. I want this to look like a grand scale, like honestly, like we're on a movie set, like we're in a movie of Marvel. You know, I want to see Rise of the Resistance on steroids. That would impress me. Let's see. They need more trees in Star Wars land. Yeah, hopefully, like in time, like they could start like growing out some more trees. That would be really cool. It would fit in with the land, and then also too, like especially on those hot days in California and Florida, they can definitely keep people, cool and dry. Let's see. I think for Infinity Defense, it would be a two-floor style attraction, just like Transformers and Rise of the Resistance. Yeah, I think based on how the building looks, especially in person, you could definitely see it's a two-story. So they'll definitely add um, more elements of it being a two-story for that. Let's see. Because Starflight Lab is taking somewhat the majority of the space. Oh, I see. That was the continuation of that. Yeah. And that's the unfortunate thing. It's taking a lot of space, but for like a very like kind of mid-par attraction. And then let's see. If the Avengers ride is like Peter Pan ride in Tokyo and not like the Indiana Jones ride in Disneyland, it's going to be a massive L. Yeah. Now here's the thing I will mention with that. If it is the ride system of Peter Pan, it still could work, but this is how it would only work. It cannot be to the speed level of Peter Pan. It can't be all cutesy and bouncy and everything. No, you need to take that same ride vehicle and ride system and crank it. You have to crank it. Like, so the ride system could work, but it has to be on a massive kind of scale. It's, as I said, you just have to like crank that lever and like speed that stuff up. It needs to be thrilling. It needs to be action packed. Um, as far as the ride vehicle for Indiana Jones, we're already still getting the ride vehicle for Indiana Jones down in Florida. I'm kind of over like the rover kind of maneuver thing. I just felt like that it was a brand new ride system like in the late 90s, early 2000s. I just feel like that again, Disney is kind of cheapening on the fact of that they don't want to spend money on a new ride system for Indiana Jones. So they're just kind of like keeping the ones that they have for Dinosaur and just like revamping it. So I think the tech for the Peter Pan ride in Tokyo will work for Infinity Defense, but again, it has to be on a much grander level. I'd prefer the Spider-Man ride go away and they give us a ride where we get to ride large ants. I agree with you in the sense that I feel like Web Slingers it's taking space. The fact that honestly we lost it, well, the fact that we lost a Bugs Land to begin with is a sin enough. That it was replaced from It's Tough to Be a Bug to Web Slingers, and it's just like, if you're going to do something with Spider-Man, you need a ride system like a swinging pendulum, or that's where they could have used the Kuka arm. That's how you use the Kuka arm. Why not remove those giant ass square box toaster ovens that travel half the speed of smell? Put the Kuka arms in there and they fling us around, and while they're flinging us, we're going like this, like we're swinging with Spider-Man. That's how the Kuka arms should have been utilized. Use that kind of, those boxed oven vehicles, like you only utilize those for something that an IP like recall, like that calls for that kind of ride vehicle. For an IP like Spider-Man, no. That does not work for me. Let's see. I think for Flight Lab, it should be a people eater, which I think should handle crowds throughout the campus. No longer a hallway. Yeah, I mean that is a plus side for Stark Flight Lab, that it will be a people eater, that they'll just keep like cranking the people on it. I just wish that they would have utilized the Kuka arms in a much better way than just kind of just saying like, oh yeah, let's just make it all like a tech room, so we don't really have to do anything with them. Like that to me was just seemed like it was a bit under creative. And we got Rudio in the house. Yeah, more Watto, please. Yeah, just like crank that Watt up. Was going to head up, but then this got brought up, and I decided to stay and talk. Absolutely, Dragonblood. I love how like that is true. Like when certain topics come up, it's like, okay, I think I'm going to head up, but then like something catches your ear, and you're like, okay, I'm going to stay in for a little bit longer. Watto, specifically with his hat. Let's see. It is massive. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Let's see. Peter Pan in Tokyo is amazing. Yeah, I do want to experience it for myself. One day, hopefully, I'll be able to get out there soon. I think the ride vehicle, for what it is for Peter Pan, it works. But as I said, if you're going to utilize it for Infinity Defense, turn it up. I don't mind the ride system, but it can't have screens. Yeah, and now here's the thing. I think with Infinity Defense, I think to have some sort of understanding of like what the storyline, I feel like you need some screens, but I will say I don't want it to just be all screens. So I think I mentioned it earlier on in the live, where that I love like a mix and match, like have so many screens that complement the audio animatronics and practical sets and visuals and everything, and special effects and everything. Sort of like how they did with the Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man down at Universal Orlando. Now I know that is a little bit more heavy driven on the screens, but I say take some of those screens, take the visual effects, the special effects, the practical sets, and then amplify it more by adding actual like state-of-the-art animatronics, like with the ride system and the ride vehicle. That would be really cool. Since it's Marvel, they will want it more intense. Transformers and Spider-Man at Universal prove that. Yeah, absolutely. They have to. I swear, if they took this long just to give us like a little maneuver, just a little maneuver of a ride, there's no way people would not be happy. I wouldn't be happy. I completely agree with you, John. Make it rain. Yeah, we need more physical audio animatronics. Absolutely. Toaster ovens crack me up. Yeah. I mean, literally, I remember the first day I saw those. I'm like, these things are oversized red toaster ovens. I'm hoping for any real effects that blow my hair back or spray water mist, etc. Yeah, I do too. Like, I love like things that put us in the moment, that makes us feel like that we're really there, that we're fighting alongside the Avengers, And I think honestly, this is one of the best times to release a ride like this, especially with the next two Avenger movies coming out, Doomsday and Secret Wars. My only concern is how relevant Thanos is. Now, again, I know I do understand where, when families go to the parks and everything, they just want to see a slam banger of an attraction. I get it. And I'm not saying that I'm not going to enjoy it with King Thanos. I just think that they should kind of go more towards a direction where it would work to their benefit, because if they're going to do like heavy marketing and promoting with Doomsday and Secret Wars, Why not utilize Doctor Doom? Why not utilize Galactus? Why not utilize? Or here's the thing, or even if they do utilize King Thanos, because since he's coming from an alternate, universe from the multiverse, I mean, you could still utilize like Galactus from Fantastic Four. You can utilize the X-Men. You can utilize Doctor Doom. Like, mix it up a bit. Again, hollow. I think it will be an upgrade like Test Track, Radiator Springs Racers, Peter Pan, Avenger. Yeah, I could definitely see that. Yeah, I agree. Let's see. Do you think they will leave Space and Avengers Campus for a different ride that's not related to Avengers? Ooh, that's a good question. I think in time they're going to have to. And I think, honestly, they should go the X-Men route, to be honest. Because I think the X-Men is going to come back in a big way after these next two Avengers movies. Because I think we all kind of know how everyone reacted to, one of those, the teaser. Well, we call them the teaser trailers. Actually, the Russo brothers confirmed to the fact that they're not calling them teaser trailers. They're not even calling them actual trailers. They're calling them like clues to something. So it's like we almost got to like take each trailer and like piece them together, and it makes like clues to something. But in any case, one of them was for the X-Men's returning to the MCU, and yeah, I think that's the route they should go. That's really where Hollywood land should be transforming. If you're not going to utilize it for Zootopia, use it for Avengers Campus, because then, again, it's a nice segue out of Buena Vista Street, and you go into maybe the streets of New York, and then go into the campus. That's like a whole nother thing of how I feel about like with Avatar, folks. That's a whole nother thing. So we got Kev on the go. Welcome in, Kev. It's all screens. I don't know how I feel about that, but I can see them doing that. I mean, I'm not saying that I need like 15 audio animatronics, because obviously, like with Marvel, but like, I mean, I would have loved to see like maybe, I mean, I don't know like all the exact characters, but maybe like the Hulk, maybe like a giant Ant-Man or something. Like, I don't know, like give us something more than just screens. You need screens for the ride system, but you can still have physical sets and etc. Look at Spider-Man and Transformers. Very true. I just think, for me, I don't know. I feel like if they would have went more of the route that they did for Monsters Unchained down at Universal, and again, I'm not saying that many audio animatronics, but where it kind of mixes, I just think that would have been a much more powerful attraction than it just be screens. That's just my thing. I think with Web Slingers, they didn't want little kids to miss it, so we got what we got, LOL. But yeah, Spider-Man needs another ride. Yeah, I mean, of course, you have to do it for the kids. I mean, it is what it is, right? Well, anyway, let's see. But yeah, no, in all seriousness, Vegas, yeah, definitely. I get it. They needed something. They needed something to balance out for the kids. I just think, and I know with Spider-Man, kids relate to him a little bit more. I just wish that they would have picked a different Marvel character to utilize that ride system than Spider-Man. Let's see. But yeah, I am hyped for this attraction. I don't think it will be a disappointment. They have to deliver after how long we've been waiting for this. Yeah, we've been waiting. As I said, by the time it opens, 8 years. 8 years. Oof. A slow dark Avengers ride for the kids might be good also. Yeah, see, like if they did like a slow dark Avengers ride with audio animatronics, see that would be really cool. You know, give us something a little bit more like where like I don't know, something. I also would love to see like a stunt show. Like, and I know that they used to have like the Avengers where they were up on the building, Black Widow and Black Panther and those characters, which I do hope they bring that back. But I mean like a legit like stunt show like Waterworld. Oh man, that would be perfect. Could they fit another IP around the Avengers campus area? Honestly, I don't. The only way after this expansion, there's nothing else left as far as expansion paths. Like Avengers Campus is gridlocked where because since it replaced the Bugs Land, the only way that they would have room. But again, I don't know if this is going to go for Avatar, is to remove the Hyperion Theater. If you remove the Hyperion Theater, you can get another probably attraction that would connect to the opposite side of Mission Breakout. But again, I don't know what the fate is for Hyperion Theater. Are they still even going to keep the theater for whatever reason? I mean, right now, it's just sitting there collecting dust. I mean, I know that they utilize it for like special like after hour events and private parties and stuff like that. I get that, but in the long term, it's not doing really Disney any good. It's just taking up space, and the Disneyland Resort is like sheltered enough, for room as it is. So they're going to have to use every nook and cranny they possibly can get. But I think honestly, if they get rid of the Hyperion Theater, that could be more expansion for Avengers Campus. But then again, as I said, I don't know if they are going to remove the Hyperion, and if they do, is that going to go for Avatar? I know it keeps on coming back to it. I just don't understand how. And I'm not saying it's not possible. Disney can make it happen. We've seen them do it before. But of what the concept of Avatar is, I just don't see the transitioning from Buena Vista Street to Pandora over to Avengers Campus. I don't see how that fits. And then the scope of what they want this land to be, and they're going to shoehorn it into the backlot area. I don't know why they just wouldn't wait and just put it in the Simba parking lot for Disneyland Forward. I don't understand. I don't get it. I mean, I know that maybe they have other bigger plans for the Simba lot, but I mean, it's a whole entire parking lot. I'm not saying use Avatar for the whole entire lot, but just like a piece of it. You still have the rest of it. And then you could do, as I said, the backlot area can be more, that could be more, technically that area was supposed to be Avengers Campus. That was supposed to be Avengers. There was supposed to be a Captain America cycle roller coaster. It was supposed to be like Tron, but it was supposed to be based off of Captain America. That was supposed to go in there. It completely changed when the Eastern Gateway didn't happen the first time. So that's when Disney had to like revamp the whole thing for Disneyland Forward, and and then Chapek at the time knew like Marvel was a hot ticket at the moment, and he said we need to get Marvel into the parks like yesterday, and you can't do anything down in Florida because of the contract with Universal, so you have to go west of the Mississippi River. And sure enough, a Bugs Land was never supposed to go. That was never a casualty. A Bugs Land would still be there today. I don't know for the same purpose, maybe it would be going away for something else. But up until this point, a Bugs Land was supposed to stay. And that's why it got gridlocked, and that's why it's so small, and that's why it's having issues, because they hurried up and they had to think of another plan B of how to get Marvel into DCA. Let's see. Dragonblight says, I think we will get more than just screens. This ride has lots of potential. No way it's just screens. I hope they are brainstorming ideas for X-Men so the wait is not as long like it was for Avengers. Yes, I agree with you, Vegas, with that, because sometimes when you wait too long, it's just like how I was mentioning about Thanos. How really relevant is Thanos right now? This ride should have came out during the hype of Infinity War and Endgame. That's when you bring it out. 7 years, wait, no, sorry, 8 years later after Endgame premieres, it's like, I mean, come on, we're already moving on from, to Fantastic Four and X-Men with Doctor Doom. It's like, yeah, so I agree with you, Vegas. Like, if I think honestly they need something with X-Men. They need like maybe like a Wolverine roller coaster or something, but again, they need to act now. But again, I don't know where they're going to put it, as I said, unless they remove the Hyperion, and that's not part of the Avatar plan. That's why I think Avatar is somewhat delayed. I mean, if you really look at the big picture, we don't even have a closing date for Monsters Inc. yet. And they said they were going to start Avatar in the beginning of 26, and right now they're aiming for a closure date of May of 26 for Monsters Inc. That's mid 2026, and that's still not even confirmed yet. We do not have an official confirmed date of Monsters Inc. closing. And technically, nothing of Avatar can start. All right, let's see here. 8 years for Infinity Defense Disneyland was built in 1 year. Yes, absolutely. And what Abby is referring to, we got to go to the world premiere up at the Walt Disney Studios in Burbank for Leslie Iwerk's new documentary that will be premiering on Disney Plus and YouTube on January 22nd, Disneyland Handcrafted. And I tell you what, for anyone who has not seen this documentary yet, because I know that they've been doing like early previews and everything, definitely check it out. It's a lot of lost cut footage that they didn't use for the Imagineering story. And it's basically a documentary of a time clock of like how the 1 year process went for Walt and his team of Imagineers and construction workers and painters and architectures and craftsmen, like all these people building Disneyland in a year, an entire park. Now, yes, it did have its problems when it opened, but the fact it opened, it was a whole entire park. This is one land, two attractions, like 8 years. That to me is crazy. I see. A Marvel stunt show would be great for the Hyperion if you want to do an indoor one. Yeah, see, and then maybe that way you could keep the Hyperion if they wanted to expand Marvel that way. But then again, then that would leave no room for another attraction, like ride attraction. Let's see. Actually, I have an idea. You take out Animation Academy and you use that building for a fourth attraction. That would they use it for? Let's see. What would they use it for? Ant-Man, and it would utilize the Star Tours ride system. So the thing with that Dragon Ball, I mean, I love that idea, like as far as like expanding more, but I think the back end part of the animation building, or was it off the page? It's one of those two buildings. It actually is like connected to Avengers Campus. So I think if you remove one of those buildings, it's actually removing a building from the campus that utilizes, I think, is it Pim's Test Kitchen or something? It utilizes something. But that's the problem when you have things that are so like tight knit together and they share spaces. You would enter the ride next to Pim's Test Kitchen across from Mission Breakout. I mean, yeah. See, but the thing is then if you remove the building, then I think it would affect Pim's Test Kitchen, because I think correct me if I'm wrong. Put it in the comments if anybody knows. Do they share the same building? Let's see. DCA doesn't have the ride system yet. It would work in my opinion. Let's see. Avengers deserves an indoor thrill ride like Space Mountain. This Ant-Man attraction would be let's see, Two Body Wars, Epcot's Wonders of Life Pavilion for the West Coast. Let's see. It was amazing seeing Disneyland being built in 1 year. They were still painting up until the opening. Yeah, literally. Like they were, when they were filming, which I didn't know this until they made this documentary, that during the opening day, when they're recording the live presentation, like they're working around the construction workers still putting stuff up and painting. Yeah, while it's crazy. Like even with people like being there for the day, that they had to do what they had to do. It was amazing, and watching these people work is just amazing. Let's see. Going on a mission with the dude that had a van and Ant-Man would be pretty cool. That would be fun. Actually, having the van, having kind of like that zany kind of. I have to say, because after the fact you mentioned the van, out of all the Ant-Man movies, the first one was my absolute favorite. Number two, okay, Quantumania. Like, don't even get me started on that one. But my favorite scene, well, one of my favorite scenes, is when they're pulling up in the van and there's just a slew full of cop cars and SWAT teams and everything. And they're just nonchalantly is like backing it up, just backing it up, just backing it up, backing it up. Yep, I'm backing it up. And he just like pulls the van back ever so slightly, like he was just like cool as a cucumber. During opening day, the park was a disaster. Yeah, it was definitely, like they had to like literally pick and choose. They asked Walt, like, because they didn't have like the full like water system in yet, and he's like, we have to sacrifice one. Do we sacrifice the bathrooms or the drinking fountains? And Walt said, like, why are we even having this conversation? Like, keep the bathrooms. Like, people can buy soft drinks, but they can't pee on the streets, so so yeah, I mean, I wouldn't go to as far as that extent anymore, because I mean, obviously, you want something done and completed, but I feel like at the time in the 1950s of something that they said would never be done, they proved them wrong and they did get it done. So yeah, I mean, it did have its problems, like the women's spiked heel shoes were, sinking into the asphalt, and they had a couple close calls, like as far as like with injuries and everything, but everyone was okay. But I think just to the fact of that, it set the template of like what Walt wanted, and the fact of that, yeah, I mean, should it really take a year to complete a whole theme park? No, it should take longer. But like, as I said, you have to definitely check out the documentary, because it is really, it's fascinating of what they did. Let's see. They told him around to whatever area of the park that was opening. Let's see. They functioning. Yeah. So like what it was is like anytime that something like was like working, they had to like they filmed and they moved all around, or even if something wasn't working, they mentioned in the documentary, the Casey Jr. circus train was because they needed the something that had to go along the track, and the train was going like off the track. But Casey Jr. did not open on opening day, but they needed it as part of like the TV special. So one of the workers was working the train just enough just to get it to go around the track once for them to film, and then he shut it down and was starting to work on it. So that was kind of interesting. Is there enough space in the back of Avengers Campus to build a maze during October's Oogie Boogie Bash? Ooh, ooh. I don't know if they'll like. Well, here's the thing. I don't know if they'll actually build a maze, because I mean I think that would be really cool. But from you mentioning that, John, that it does make me think that it does extend out for more treat trails, for them to do more with the villains. So maybe they will have like the Marvel villains, utilized back in that area. But it really would be cool if they did. I wish Disney did some sort of maze. It doesn't have to be like on the scare level for like HHN, but I think just like a mild, mid to mild kind of maze, I think would be really cool. But back to my Godzilla and Kong motion simulator attraction idea for Universal. It would be located in both Orlando and Hollywood, also Japan. You would also travel through the Hollow Earth and come. I guess there's going to be another part there. um, but yeah, that's interesting. I think honestly, I didn't even think of that until you mentioned it, John. Was now that there's more room that expanded out into Avengers Campus, could that expand out more for tree trails? Could they have a Thanos kind of meet and greet? Could they have Doctor Doom? Can they have I don't know how they would have Galactus, but maybe like if they did it in like a big puppetry kind of way, then obviously you'd have Agatha of Harkness, and maybe you could do like the zombie Captain America zombie, So I mean, you can kind of get creative with it, but I like that idea. I like that idea. But yeah. So that's actually it was a great conversation. Actually, I was not expecting to dive into Marvel. I really didn't know really what we were going to be talking about today, other than really just the one topic that I had was for uh, Star Wars, to be honest, because nothing else is really going on. And as I said, for the topics that I do have, I am saving for me and Conductor's live marathon show 2 weeks from tomorrow. So everyone, please, if you don't follow us, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for us on YouTube, and you could also follow us on Instagram for all our adventures as well. But yeah, it was a great conversation. As I said, I just thought of just talking about the Star Wars, but I love how we dived into talking about Godzilla and Kong and Marvel, and we were just talking about like a bunch of different stuff. So I absolutely loved everybody's questions, thoughts, opinions, ideas, suggestions, just the back and forth conversations. I absolutely loved it. Really quick, let me finish off Dragon Blood's thing here. Across many different creatures and even monsters that would try to attack you, as well as coming across Kong and then eventually fighting Scar King from Godzilla and Kong, the new Empire, to going to the surface and coming across Godzilla and fighting Ghidorah. Thank you for breaking that up for me, Dragon Blood, because I'm bad with those kind of names. Let's see. And then Dragonblight says, have a good one, everyone. And Jesse Adventure with the clapping hands. So, yeah, I want to thank everyone for joining me this evening. Jesse Adventure, Dragonblood, John Make It Rain. Thank you so much, John Make It Rain, for joining tonight. I believe this is your first time joining our live, and thank you for the engagement. Thank you for the conversation, the questions, the ideas. You had some great ideas. That was great. He's asking, are they going to make another King Kong? Dragon Blood, if you're still in the chat, can you? I think John, I think Dragon Blood might have an answer for that. I'm not 100% sure. I thought Kong was doing another movie with Godzilla. I don't know if he's just doing another. I'm not sure if he's doing another solo movie, if that's what you were asking. But Dragon Blood might know. My babe Abby. Let's see. Hudson Thomas, thank you so much. Vegas Disney RTV. Mademoiselle. Kev on the go. Rudio. Yon Smokes. And thanks again, Yon Smokes. I don't know if you're still in the chat, but thank you so much for bringing like the attention like of the update for the construction and everything. Just want to make sure if I'm not Albert. I think that's it. I think, yep, we got everybody. All right, let's see. Another King Kong movie is unknown. We are getting Godzilla and Kong Supernova in March of 27. Also, we'll be seeing Kong again next month in Monarch, Legacy of Monsters second season. Now I want Peter Jackson to remake Son of Kong. Yeah, see, like if anyone has any questions for like Godzilla or King Kong or Transformers, Dragon Blood, he is your guy. he'll have all the in scoop on that one. And John Make It Rain says that's exciting. That is really exciting. That would be really cool. But again, folks, I want to thank you all so much for joining me on this live. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. And as I said, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell on YouTube for Hollow Gelato, and follow us on Instagram as well under Hollow Gelato. We have a plethora of content that will be coming out on the horizon. We have tons of stuff scheduled already. And as I said, Theme Park Conductor and I will be doing a live marathon show 2 weeks from tomorrow. Abby and I will be back in the parks for Lunar New Year. We'll be covering our food reviews for that. I will also be in the park during DCA's 25th anniversary. And we got some D23 events that are coming up that we'll be attending. So again, a lot of stuff is on the horizon. And yeah, so it's going to be great. John Make It Rain says, I watched the first season. Jurassic World. Oh, yes. And Dragon Blood. Jurassic World and How to Train Your Dragon is also his forte as well. Let's see. Looking forward to tomorrow's topics. Let's see. I didn't know there was a Lunar New Year. Yes, there is a Lunar New Year celebration that they hold at the Disneyland Resort. It kicks off January 23rd. Abby, I'm not sure. What's the end date for Lunar New Year? If you can throw that in there. Yeah, so it's basically for like the Asian culture, you know, celebrating their new year, like the year of the dragon, the year of the horse. And they have like a plethora of like different foods that go along with it and everything. They have it every year, but yeah, it kicks off January 23rd, and I think it runs till February something. As I said, Abs, if you're still in the the chat if you could put in the end date. And you are, and you're most welcome, John. Let's see. For those who want to meet up at D23 this year in August, feel free to say hello. I won't bite. Absolutely. And Abby confirms January 23rd to February 22nd. Yes, if hopefully that we'll be at D23, the Ultimate Fan event in August. Hopefully that we'll be able to nab tickets. If we are, and you get tickets too, if you happen to see us on location, yes, please come by, say hello, or even not even at D23. If you're in the parks or what have you and you see us there, please come over, say hello. I love the attention. I always do. And yeah, so you're most welcome, John. Have a great night. And Abby says thank you to everyone. And again, folks, Disney should give you free tickets. Well, thank you so much, John. I greatly appreciate it. Hopefully, I can get this channel up to a point where maybe I can get invited to some of the media events. That would really be cool. But with all the support from you guys, it's so well worth it. So hopefully, in time, fingers crossed, that at some point that we can get Holo Gelato on the media list to do that kind of stuff. So that would be really cool. And Dragon Blood says, I'll be at the parks too. Feel free to do the same there as well. But in any case, everyone, thank you so much for joining me on this Holo Gelato Live. I'm George, the Disney Italiano. And as I always say in Disney Italiano fashion, stay safe, stay healthy, stay Disney. Italiano out.